Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome back to part 2 of Crusader Kings 2 with the Monks and Mystics DLC. First of all, I'd like to start off by saying a big thank you to one of my newer Patreon supporters, Tratos, for your generous donation. You have sponsored a video this month, so this video has been kindly sponsored by Tratos. Your donation is very much appreciated and really does help the channel out. So without further ado, let's dive back into Crusader Kings 2. We've got this revolt going on as well as the war that we're currently in. So one of the first things that we want to do is try and get all of our allies to join into the other war, which are basically all of our tributaries. So we'll call those all in. We now have some open council positions. We no longer have a steward. There's a few people on the council here who are, well, they're not on the council, they're powerful vassals who are angry for not being on the council, but I'd sooner have people who are actually good at the job. Let's go ahead and get a spy master. You're a relatively good spy master. You're currently one of my commanders though, but we will give you the spy master's job. Let's just have a quick look at the council here. The steward, you're definitely going to go back to collecting taxes, we need that money. And the spy master is leading troops. We'll leave you leading troops for the time being. Let's go ahead and unpause. We are only on speed 3, which is all we really want to be on. Looks like everybody is willing to join. Okay, so we're in 2 wars, which is a little bit of a pain. Dealing with the rebellion is usually the quicker and simpler of the wars, because normally you have to do very, very little to actually get the rebellion to end. So we're going to jump in there with almost 3-to-1 troops. And we now have our next event in the chain to join Lucifer's Own. It has been some time since Mayor Wiglaf was in contact with me. I've been pondering what God would think of me for venturing down this path. But Wiglaf has already offered me more support than God ever has. I've begun studying books on the occult, and so far I'm finding the views preached at the church to be narrow-minded at best. Their lies are meant to hold us back. Okay, well, let's carry on. Hopefully we'll win this battle. We probably only really need to siege this one province out. It'll probably be good. We have more than enough men here to deal with these issues. And again, as I said in the first video, because I've turned Shattered Retreat off, they only move into one province, so they're really, really easy to chase down. I found some cryptic scrawlings written in let me try that again and put my teeth in. I found some cryptic scrawlings written in blood on my bedroom door this morning. The guards say they haven't seen anyone enter during the night, and I dare not ask my court chaplain to decipher it. Yet I think I understand. The mark of Satan. Of course, the bargain must be struck. So you can carve Satan's mark into your arm, just like the one there Wiglaf showed you, and basically we get a bandaged arm for a few months. And gives us the following effect: personal combat skill -1. Well, we don't really fight ourselves anyway, so we're not too bothered about the lack of personal combat skill. Let's chase these guys down again. I'm also just going to march down to Northampton and just kick these guys out before they have a chance to siege Northampton down. So being in 2 wars is a little bit of a pain, because we will have to keep bouncing between armies, but if we can reduce his numbers down enough, he won't be able to siege out anyway. Brother Offer, we have received word of your dedication and desire to join the Legion of the True Lord. Await the messenger. Let the Dark One guide you. Signed, High Priest Setna. So this guy is probably the sort of leader of the cult. So we've got to wait for the messenger. That is fine. Edinburgh, so this is our daughter, says that her favourite toy is missing and she won't go to bed without it. I may have thrown it out today when I was tidying up. Guess I'll have to find it. Well, we don't want to lose the prestige. We'll just buy her a new one. Even though it makes her fussy, we really don't care. So we'll go ahead and just kick that army down a little bit. I've met an intriguing and hypnotically beautiful woman at court. Apparently, this Huela is a foreign diplomat. I engaged her in conversation for the first time today. We spoke at length about phrasings. I was shocked when she carefully pulled up her sleeve, revealing the mark of Satan. This woman's supposed to be beautiful, is she? Somebody needs their eyes testing. She's 43. She doesn't have any particularly great stats either. She certainly wasn't as good as the messenger that I had in the original playthrough. You're the messenger, apparently. Okay, so the Abjura smiles. I'm pleased to find you not only a charming man-offer, but also one capable of intellectual discourse. The brethren value the pursuit of knowledge, you see, in addition to more earthly pursuits. Her smile turns into a predatory grin as she continues. We'll soon see exactly how committed you are. She offers no reply, instead taking you by the hand. Oh dear, I see where this is going. Monks from the nearby monastery have been stopping by to trade for supplies quite often lately. They usually linger to talk and exchange knowledge. We can gain the trait Cynical. Cynical gives us some extra intrigue and some more same trait opinion. Or we can actually gain, well, we can gain 20 piety, and there's only a 30% chance of gaining 1 learning. Let's go ahead and take the Cynical. Whoever escorts me to my bedchamber, I hesitate upon entering, finding it flooded with light, as candles form a circle around my bed. Several hooded figures surround the room, chanting in unison, "Fear not, brother, power and pleasure, these are the gifts of Satan." I like the sound of that. When I wake up, the cloaked figures are gone, and Huila is lying next to me, a smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. "Welcome to Lucifer's own, King Officer," she says. I hold her close, wondering how I will look back upon this moment. I'm not being funny. This woman here, this 43-year-old woman, looks nothing like this woman here in the artwork at all. I wish you had found me sooner. We join the society, we have a budding romance and a friendship, or we can join it and her opinion goes down. We'll go for the positive opinion one anyway. It's always best to do that if we can. We have lost our marshal now. You're not a great marshal. You're also leading my army, but you are a powerful vassal. Let's go ahead and get this rebellion dealt with first. That's the important thing. Now, you'll notice our character portrait has changed. We are now a hooded figure. This is because we are now one of Satan's own. If we go ahead and click the societies, we can now see that we are an abjurer. So this allows us to sacrifice to Satan. Basically, right-clicking on the portraits of prisoners to sacrifice them to Satan in order to gain dark power. Certain prisoners and mission targets will please Lucifer's own more. Be aware that too many sacrifices may draw attention to your society. We can also now actually have a look and see a list of all the people that are in this society. And it's actually this, Bishop Setna. So, even though when we saw him before, he just looked like an ordinary priest, we can now see him in his Lucifer's own garb. We currently don't have any dark power at all. We have no active missions, and the society's influence is 15%. So this is the current influence of Lucifer's own. A higher amount of influence will decrease the cost of various powers able to you and Lucifer's own. It can also affect the outcome of powers and events. And it's basically based on members' intrigue and successful missions. We'll put that away for now, and we'll come back to it once we have a mission to do. In the meantime, let's see if we can deal with these wars. So we're going to go and sit over here and siege out this province here. This is the capital province for the capital duchy of the guy that started the rebellion. So we should be able to siege that out quite quickly. And if we click on over here, we can see that we are sieging 8.4% of its morale every 12 days, and it's got 74.8 to go. Your courtier, Germal, has sent you a gift. It's a small puppy, but of the finest pedigree and destined to grow into a great hunting dog. Well, we'll accept it. It'll give us an extra health and diplomacy. Let's call it Lucifer. Why not? We are a devil worshipper after all. So we could go and tell our allies to go and siege, but we're just basically going to go and sit here and get this one down. We'll get this siege done before he gets his done, so we should very easily be able to finish that war. Once that war's done, then we can go down and finish on the Duke of Wessex and get him to become a tributary. And that's something that we're very, very keen on keeping on top of. We want to get as many tributaries as possible, at least until we can start getting some actual claims where we can take land. Now, if you're used to playing games like Europa Universalis 4, it's a lot easier to take land because it's very, very easy to fabricate a claim against your neighbour. And then you only need a claim on one province and you can go to war with them for that province, but in the peace deal, you can take 100% war score worth of stuff and take a lot of land. You can't do that in CK2. It takes an awfully long time to actually fabricate a claim against anybody. And, let's just march back down there again and give these armies a kicking. So it takes an awfully long time to fabricate a claim against anybody in CK2 because there is a certain random element to it. And even when you get a claim, if you declare war for that particular claim for that particular province, that particular county, you can only take that county in the peace deal. You need 100% peace deal to actually peace out, and then at that point, you literally just get to enforce your demands, which is whatever you started the war for. We've got another... You're trying to get somebody else on the throne now, are you? Of course, it makes it more difficult for us when we've got a lot of people that are already at war with us, because our vassals see it as a sign of weakness. We're losing manpower. Every time we go and fight a battle, yes, we may win the battle, but we lose men, which means our armies become weaker, and our enemies think, well, hang on a minute, we've got a chance here, we could do something. But we're already at 90% here. If we manage to siege down the bishopric, because we've already got the city, if we manage to siege down the bishopric, which will be very, very quick, it's going down at a rate of 13% every 12 days. So we should be able to end that rebellion nice and quickly, and then we'll go down and finish off with Wessex. That won't be too bad. And then hopefully we'll actually get a mission. Another thing you'll notice as well, and I love this, our religion, the Catholic cross, is now inverted because we are a devil worshipper. I don't think the... Yeah, the Pope doesn't actually realise that, but we've actually flipped that over. My wife is pregnant. Not necessarily excellent. Although it doesn't really matter if we want another boy. We haven't got any contested succession. We are at 100% war score here. So let's go ahead and offer peace. And that basically puts this guy in prison now, because we'll be having no more of your rubbish. So let's march down here. We'll go and give that army a kick in, and then we'll go and start sieging out Wessex. Doesn't have much of an army now anyway. And then we might have to do a little bit of realm management. Just make sure that we keep everybody happy. Let's just have a quick look at the council, see what we've got going on. Everybody is kind of where they should be. So we'll leave all of you people for the time being. We have got some people leading armies, but that is absolutely fine. So we're just waiting on getting a mission. We will get one eventually. I'll click on the right button there. Yeah, no active mission at the moment. Some of them are a little bit contrived, but they are very, very fun. So we've got a daughter that lacks an education focus. Again, it's a daughter, so we go thrift. Just so that we can marry her off later. We're already at 55% war score in this battle against the Duke of Wessex. That's mainly because we've killed so many of his troops. We're making 8.7% progress on the siege every 12 days. And there's only 39.1% left of the morale. So another sort of 48 days and this siege will be over. It's not really enough time for him to siege anything out. I don't think that on its own will be enough to actually end the war. But then we can go and siege out the bishopric and then the city. So it's at 23%. So actually it's going to be another 3 ticks. Here we go. Satan's favours Abjurat offer. The great and mighty Satan has given us much, and now it is time for us to offer them a gift in return. Satan craves a soul to serve them in their dark realm, and we have the perfect kind in mind. Capture and sacrifice a virgin. Glory to the deceiver. So how do you find yourself a virgin? Well, I find the easiest way to do that is to go into the intrigue screen. Go into the intrigue screen and use the option to present a debutante. Now, it will cost us a tiny bit of gold, but we can present a debutante and we will get ourselves a new courtier. She's 17, so she's most likely a virgin because it's a new, freshly created character. So what we're going to do is right-click on her, and we are going to attempt to abduct. It will cost us some dark power, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and try and abduct her. I've put the word out among my brethren in Lucifer's own. When the opportunity presents itself, the brothers and sisters in Leicester will attempt to snatch... Oh, God. Beorthgifu and bring her to me in chains. Excellent. Why can't she have a name that is easier to pronounce? So, a son was born. That is not good. However, one thing they have added in the recent patch is the ability to randomize name, or name after the father, or name after the grandfather, or name after a random ancestor, which is fantastic. However, we will be naming after Patreon supporters, so we are going to go with Tratos. As you've sponsored this episode, you can be our newest son. Apologies right now if you end up getting killed or murdered horribly or die from some nasty disease. please, because that is usually the way of Crusader Kings 2. In the meantime, we're going to carry on with this siege. We have managed to siege the top holding. We've got the castle, so we're now working on the bishopric. My fellows in Lucifer's Zone have informed me that this woman with the unpronounceable name plans to travel the realm incognito for a lark, mingling with the common folk. Isn't she common folk anyway? She's just a random courtier. She will only be protected by 2 loyal friends during this little adventure. A great opportunity to have her abducted if I so wished. Approve the scheme. My incompetent brethren have failed to capture her, though apparently they slew a guard and the servant in the attempt. Idiots. Just can't rely on people to get the work done. But they'll keep trying to capture her until they eventually do, so we can wait. I think it does it like once a month or something like that, so we'll just hang on for a little bit. This army's just marching around because he doesn't really have enough men to siege anything. There's a minimum number of men you need to siege. You basically need to have more men than the defending levy. My brethren are not having much luck in their attempts to abduct woman with unpronounceable name. Perhaps Lucifer's Zone are not influential enough to pull it off. Should I call it off? No, I'll just have to be more patient. We will pull it off. It will happen. We will get her, and it's really, really worth it because the amount of dark power that we'll get for successfully completing the mission really makes it worthwhile. We're now up to 74%. We've sieged out the bishopric. You can tell that we've done that because our flag, the Petty Kingdom of Mercia, appears right slap bang in the middle of the portrait. So that means that it is ours. You can also tell by the red ring around the outside here that it belongs to an enemy. If we click on our own, you can see that anything that belongs to us directly is green, which means that it is my direct holding. Anything that belongs to a vassal of mine is blue. And if we look at tributaries and people that are neutral, or the tributary, the bishopric here is a vassal because it's blue, but everything else is just grey, and then stuff that belongs to an enemy is red. We have a victory, still only 89%. I could hear someone sneaking around inside and believed it to be a burglar. When I went downstairs, I discovered Ethelswith opening one of my letters. I'll teach her to be less nosy. That'll make her cruel, or she could use some practice reading. That'll make me lose prestige, which I don't want to happen because I don't have that much prestige, and positive prestige gives you opinion. So we'll go and make her cruel because we don't really care. And we actually gain prestige by doing that, which is fantastic. Well, there's no point sitting in this province anymore because we've sieged out everything we can. Let's move into a neighbouring province. My fellows in Lucifer's Zone have informed me that woman with unpronounceable name plans to travel the realm incognito. So it's the same text we had before. We're going to go ahead and approve the scheme. Hopefully this time they won't be incompetent. There we go. My competent brethren in Lucifer's Zone managed to snatch her from the guards and bring her to me in a sack. Excellent. So what we want to do now, we're going to right click on her and we are going to sacrifice to Satan. You are a member of Lucifer's Zone, you can choose to sacrifice her. They may have repercussions upon my soul. So the woman with the unpronounceable name looks dazed as she's dragged to the altar, but you can see a dawning comprehension on her face as she's tied down. You ignore her begging as chants of praise to Satan build to a crescendo. Finally, it is time to swing your blade in an overhead arc, which ends in her heart. She dies. We only gain 10 dark power. That seems to be much reduced from ones that I've done before. I'm sure I don't know if the patch is out already. I'm almost certain that when I was streaming it, I was getting like 200 dark power a time for doing that. Now, it kind of makes the missions pointless. If it costs you 50 dark power to abduct somebody and you only get 10 dark power back for the mission, that maybe is a little bit too much of a step in the wrong direction. Although it hasn't actually given us the sacrifice virgin. Did she not count? Have they changed it? Was she not a virgin? Satan demands payment in blood and souls. Offer them the life of someone who has never known love. Interesting. I don't think you can capture children either, so that's not an option. So, education focus. So here's another thing that they've changed. This is a little quality of life thing. You can actually see the positives and negatives now for each of the... all the child's positives and negative traits appear next to the different focuses. Now this guy's timid, but I still want to try and give him a martial focus if I can. I'll siege this out first because this siege will be done before theirs and we can move over there. Let's go ahead and unpause the game. So obviously that mission didn't count for us. That's why we didn't get enough dark power. Do we have enough dark power to attempt another abduction? We do. But who could we attempt to abduct? Is there anybody in the realm who is potentially young enough, or that isn't married? You know, how can we try and grab somebody? There aren't many females in courts, to be honest. Let's attempt it one more time. Let's go and present another debutante. It may work. Again, you are 17. You've got a hair lip. You're proud. You are lustful, though. Maybe the problem was that it took us so long to abduct her that she managed to do something in between. Now, her name is EVGA, which I can just about pronounce. I've put word out among my brethren when an opportunity presents itself, blah, blah, blah. So it's basically the same as before. So we're going to go ahead and get this. Shouldn't take too long now. And then we'll move down there and clear that out. Should end the war. We might even get it once we get this siege. Although this siege is going very, very slowly. There we go. 96%. Let's march on over here and do that. We'll approve the scheme. Same as before. She's out in the wilds with 2 friends. My incompetent brethren are incompetent. We have an important decision. We can once again attempt to recruit a court physician. So let's go ahead and send out the messengers. We'll defeat an army here again, and we have 100%. So that's a good point to go and offer peace, enforce our demands, and he is now our tributary. We'll move our guys into our own territory, and we will disband the levies. One of your messengers returns with news of an old nun residing in the Covent Crowland. The Covent of Crowland. The pious woman has worked for years in the leper colonies of Crowland, and she licks away the pus in the patient's wounds and eats their scabs, something for which she has earned the name Bergfled the Holy. If you were to donate a tidy sum to the convent, she could come and work for you. Sounds like a witch. Is she a witch? Says she's a nun. I think she's a witch. But she likes it. Sure. How much do you want? 13 gold. Well, we can easily afford that. So, we have ourselves a new court physician. We can also present our son to the realm. We'll probably do that soon. Looks like we're going to try and grab that woman again. We've managed to snatch her. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and sacrifice her to Satan. Hopefully it'll work this time around. Same text as before. Again, only 10 dark power. That seems interesting. So how do we know, how do we get a virgin for sure? That's a difficult one to work out here. Let's go ahead and just disband the levies. So they've definitely changed that. We've got idle council members now. Our marshal should definitely be training troops in the capital. And our spy master can be trying to steal technology from Thrake. Let's get you down in there. And just before we end this video, let's just have one quick look and see who we need to suck up to. So this guy is actually in our prison. So is this guy. Why are you in prison? You actually like me. I am going to... In fact, here's another opportunity to show you something that has changed. On the prisoners tab now, we have these options where we can basically mass execute, mass ransom, mass release various different prisoners, and we can filter them as well. We can also put a tick in the box to exclude somebody from the mass actions if we don't want to accidentally kill or ransom somebody that we want to keep. Let's go and ransom this guy off, so we'll get ourselves some extra gold so we can release him. That'll be fine, and we then want to go back and see who else we want to suck up to. Mostly kids, so I'm not too bothered about doing that. So we'll see if he accepts the ransom, and he does. We do apparently have righteous imprisonment on him, but he wants a seat on the council, but he doesn't dislike me. You do have an intrigue of 16. If we go and look at our council, you only have an intrigue of 15. You're not an important vassal, so we'll go ahead and put you back into your original position. Hopefully this time you're not going to go and turn traitor on me, but that'll make him a lot happier as well. That's actually increased his opinion of me quite highly. So when we come back next time, we'll see if we can actually finish that mission. I'd like to say once again thanks a lot for watching, and another big thank you to my Patreon supporter Tratos for his generous donation in sponsoring this video. If you would like to help support me and the channel by donating on Patreon, then you will find the link in the description below the video. It is completely optional, and I never ask people to part with money if they cannot afford to do so. But please do consider, if you have an ad block, whitelisting YouTube, because I do run ads on my videos, and it does make a difference when people have their ad block on. It really, really hurts the little bit of revenue that I get. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, and until then, goodbye for now.